with SCAPE Public Art, Deborah McCormick. And
oh, I don't want to be on.
And we've got the Public Art Advisory Group afterwards, but you'll stay for that, Adrian. Yeah, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary S. and councillors. It's great to be here today. I am representing SCAPE Public Art Trust, and two of the trustees are with me, Dame Adrian, who you all know, and Jane Lees, one of our trustees. SCAPE installs large public art in Christchurch all year round, with a focus on the Christchurch biennials. We are the expert in terms of installation of public art, and the biennials are seen as New Zealand's premier public art events. Over the past 17 years, we've installed 9 permanent and 160 temporary works in the central city. These artworks provide a unique point of difference for the city. Ambitious and high impact, they enhance the urban centre and raise the profile of public art and Christchurch as a destination to experience it. Held in central city public spaces and supported by a range of partnerships, the Christchurch Biennials showcase leading national, international and local artists. SCAPE Public Art has created a close relationship and collaboration between business, and this is a highly regarded model worldwide. SCAPE Christchurch Biennial events are produced on alternative years. After 17 years of operation, we're up to our 8th biennial. SCAPE currently receives important funding from the Christchurch City Council's Festivals and Events Fund to deliver the Christchurch Biennial. SCAPE 8, due to open on the 2nd of October this year, has a budget of $1.9 million. Of this, the Christchurch City Council's Events and Festivals funding is 10% at $190,000. We believe that we attract a significant return on Christchurch City Council investment. For SCAPE 8, you will see 8 new temporary public artworks and community participation works. You will see the completion of the installation of the first permanent public artwork in New Zealand by renowned British sculptor Anthony Gormley, which is a partnership project with Sarah that we have brokered. You will see a compact central city SCAPE 8 public art walkway. The opening weekend programs will focus on local families and the visiting art world. We have an education and community engagement program which will run throughout the 6 weeks of SCAPE. 70% of our $1.9 million for this biennial will be paid directly into the local economy to Christchurch firms. We employ arts graduates, artists and the arts sector, so we believe that's a significant return. Any reduction to this important core funding would directly impact on the Trust's ability to attract the 90% of external grants, industry partnerships and philanthropic funding. The Council's proposed reduction in budgeted costs for the Events and Festivals Fund from $9+ million in 2014 to a low of circa $6 million in 2016 will challenge the festivals and events sector ability to successfully deliver a thriving arts and culture environment in Christchurch. Arts, festivals, events and public art remained and even thrived through the disaster and the rebuild. It's been the main reason of many Christchurch residents to re-engage with their central city. Our market research proved this. These are some of the comments and feedbacks from local Christchurch residents. I think that art gives people a positive reason to re-engage with the city centre. I really enjoyed walking through the CBD and being able to focus on the artworks. Because it's one of the most hope-inspiring initiatives in Christchurch, reminds us that our city is alive and well, undaunted and full of energy, courage, humour. It's a positive art and community-focused event in the rebuilding city. Let's remember it's the arts and events that have positioned our transitional city in the international media, such as the New York Times, where in their article After Earthquakes, A Creative Rebirth in Christchurch, SCAPE Public Art and other arts organisations were credited for the entire city looks like a giant exhibition space. The Trust recommends that its current funding from the festivals and events is maintained. To enable the arts and festivals sector to grow and thrive, we encourage the Council to, together with the arts and culture sector, develop a combined and coordinated activity management plan for the arts. Next, you will hear from our governing patron, Dame Adrian Stewart, who is a member of the Council's Public Art Advisory Group, of which SCAPE Public Art produce, project manage and secure match funding for the city's public art collection. You have a booklet handout with a number of the works that we have commissioned in partnership with the Council, which has been circulated earlier. This partnership has significantly contributed to major new works for the city's collection, which have included Flower Power by Regan Gentry at Stewart Plaza, Nucleus by Phil Price on the corner of Litchfield High and Manchester Streets, Passing Time by Anton Parsons, which is at the entrance of CPIT on the corner of Madras and St Asaph Streets, Julia Morrison's Tree Houses for Swamp Dwellers by Christchurch artist Julia Morrison on the corner of Gloucester and Colombo Streets, and Solidarity Grid, which is our first international artists commission by German light artist Misha Kabal, which sees the lighting and gifting of 21 streetlights from around the globe as a gesture of solidarity as the city rebuilds. So far, 11 of these lights have been installed in Park Terrace between Armour and Peterborough Streets. This year, we will install the remaining 10 lights to complete this global cultural exchange project. And we're working very hard at the moment to get a light from Buenos Aires to be here for the Argentinian match when the Pumas play the All Blacks on the 17th of July. On the 10th of June, SCAPE Public Art, together with the Council, will celebrate a 5-year journey as we dedicate Fanfare, a truly remarkable 20-metre diameter geodesic dome structure with 360 moving fans by local genius sculptor Neil Dawson. At this time, when Christchurch has lost so many of its landmarks, Fanfare is currently taking shape on the Northern Motorway, creating a new and dynamic entranceway to the city. Fanfare, when it changes colour and glows, will further position Christchurch on the global arts stage. Following the earthquakes, Christchurch City's visual arts community has been faced with a complex raft of issues, with much of the arts taking to the streets in empty buildings, on gaps, and on end walls. This is building momentum that can see Christchurch, over time, becoming one of the most interesting public art destinations in the world. SCAPE Public Art requests that the Council restore its Public Art Fund to its 2014-15 budget at $296,185, with annual inflation adjustments in out years. Council's investment via the Public Art Fund and the matched funding delivery partnership with SCAPE Public Art provides a means, a threefold community contribution to a valuable public art capital asset program for the city. Under this partnership, SCAPE is required to leverage at least $1 of other contributed money for each $1 of council money. This partnership has been more successful than this 1-to-1 ratio. Over the past 3 years, for each $1 of council, SCAPE Public Art and the Public Art Advisory Group have raised an additional $3.25 of other funding. I urge you to continue to build on the good community will and investment that this partnership, SCAPE and Council, has developed over the past 17 years, and not decrease it through the proposed LTP reduction in the base funding. This public-private partnership is now a well-established, well-regarded model worldwide that the city can be proud of. The Trust wishes to continue to work in partnership with the Christchurch City Council through its Public Art Advisory Group to provide leadership and produce and manage large-scale and ambitious legacy public art sculptures for our city. Christchurch has the opportunity to become the public and street art capital of Australasia, to become a destination and a beacon for visitors and locals. Let's continue to work together to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for what you do. I think I've been to pretty much all of the SCAPE launches over that 15-year period. Just one question that I've got is around the Sarah's Art by the River project. Obviously, we had a briefing on that really recently, and one of the things that came up is that in the transition away from, Sarah being involved in Christchurch and all of these different activities, the transfer of that function to some sort of trust. Do you see SCAPE as potentially that home?
It's an interesting question. I've been involved, and I work for, I'm a specialist advisor, so I have been involved in the process with Sarah. And the Trust are waiting our chairman to come back from the Venice Biennale, but Sarah have asked us to have a discussion with them. So the trustees are aware of this. The discussion hasn't happened yet. It's obviously a big discussion and one that we're welcome to be involved with.
But it makes sense as a point of connection with the city.
Certainly, yeah.
Rather than setting up something new.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there would be competition of a new trust. We've identified that as a trust, as a risk, as a threat to the work that we do.
Sorry?
We made that point for Council Sarah.
Oh, well, I wasn't here 2 years ago, so, yep. Ali?
Quickly, and I know you and I have talked about this, Deborah, too. Can you just give us an idea of when the next lights are going in the thing along Park Terrace?
So October this year. So there's 10 more to go. So we've actually got a couple of lights that need to be fixed. They're not illuminated, so apologies for that. But the Wuhan light came very, very quickly, and we wanted to have something installed for the delegation, and a part was not delivered, so we put it up, but the part has arrived, and our contractor is going to install that in July this year. The Buenos Aires light is being air freighted, and again, we're trying very hard to get that in for that rugby game. We've got a light coming from Thessalonica. We've got a light coming from Singapore. We have a light coming from La Roche in France.
Paris? Did you get
No, we didn't get Paris. I thought Singapore was going to be the hardest country to negotiate with, but it was Paris.
Yeah, so they're all going to go in.
They're all going to be installed this year. Yeah, and then it'll be transferred over to Philips Star Sensor LED unit, and a number of the lights have had to be upgraded. So it actually provides not only an artwork but a functional lighting system in that area, which improves the ability for people to walk down there safely at night. Yeah, thank you.
It's absolutely stunning, and it's quite moving too, the sort of expression of the light from cities around the world shining on Christchurch. It's fantastic. So thank you very much, and if you can leave us with Dame Adrian, then we'll hear the Christchurch City Council Public Art Advisory Group.